you've spoke on being the runner-up for the Heisman this year. I know how hard that was for you. As you sit back now and you've had time to reflect, what do you feel like you learned the most, about yourself going through all of that?
I think it was like a competitive spirit thing. I wanted something so, so bad, something that I dreamed of since I was a kid. And obviously it wasn't the right move. Obviously I made the mistake. I apologize for it. It just came out of like something that was just deep, and I wanted it for so many years, and it was just hard on me. It felt like I lost almost like a brother or something. And it's like hard for someone not in my shoes to understand of everything that I've ever wanted. Obviously, we all want to accomplish our dreams, and to fall so short, it was just so heartbreaking, and it was just difficult on me.
I think there's a lot of lessons, especially for, that situation. You feel like you learned one. And the biggest thing is, right, when you want something so bad in life and it doesn't come to fruition. There's two examples this past football weekend that are great examples of how you handle those situations. How bad do you think that Josh Allen wanted to win that game last week?
Oh,
Pretty bad,
terribly
huh?
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He composes himself, walks to the podium, has to answer a barrage of questions, and handles it like a G. Caleb Williams watched that kick go through the upright, and he looks, and he just kinda, "All right, we gotta go shake hands. We gotta go handle this with class, and we have to move forward."
Yep.
And, I think that's any game, that's played in those situations, right? Yeah, I'm sure CJ Stroud is hurting, as bad as you possibly could after a game like last week. And I just see it now because I lose to the Chiefs in my last start ever, and I throw a terrible ball, play a terrible game. I take my helmet off, spike it on the field in the middle, and yeah, it shows you how bad I want to win, but it also shows you how big of a kid that I still am about how I don't handle tough situations of things that I want in the right way. So, just a quick note of things that I've seen that to me are commendable and are prime examples of handling things the right way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I've learned from it, and, the same mistake won't happen. We always live by the thing of make some new mistakes, and so I'll go forward in life and I'll be fine, and, I'll be good to go.
So obviously a lot of narratives, right, about everything in your life. From your brothers, you got a lot of attention. Your mom got a lot of attention. You and Theo got a lot of attention. Shit, even me and you hanging out got a lot of attention. What's your, thoughts about the narratives the media tried to build around you and the people close to you this year?
I feel like in order to judge somebody, and I feel like this goes with you too, because a lot of people um before like I met you, it was like, "Oh, you don't wanna be like Johnny," and this and that, and it was like, "Oh," like, people are kinda making assumptions until you meet the person, you know what I mean? And so but who cares? I really only care about the people who, are around me, and, um, obviously the decision makers, I care about them, and I care about obviously they care about their franchise, they wanna make the right decision of who's gonna be in the room, and I want them to know that, like, I'm full business. That's why you haven't heard about ever since I got out of, college football, you haven't heard about me doing, um, little dumb stuff, and you won't, and so, obviously, my family, yeah, they're my family, they're my blood, like, I got their back regardless.
Here's a great question then based off that answer. Do you envision them going to wherever you're going?
As far as, like, living with me,
Not living with you or living in the same town or, either one of those things.
I don't know, I would probably have my mom live with me, um, just cause like, I don't know, just so I have, like, somebody with me.
Yeah, no, I wish I would've done that with my family, to be honest. I wish I would've put, my mom or my dad with me probably for, a year. My mom actually did come up and probably stay with me in Cleveland for 3 weeks during the fall of my first year. That was probably a big point and the first time I knew things for me were really going downhill, when I couldn't look her in the eye and I was doing my lifestyle was different whenever she was around. And, yeah, I think, your mom being there is obviously great. More time in the building and more time with family and friends because your first year is the most important. Like, for me, I got behind in the playbook because I was enamored with my relationships with the business side of things or the fun that came with it. And for me, I got behind and I never caught up. It'll take you 3, 4, 5 full years to really like, learn to where you get to the point and you're behind center and you look and you see positions of people on defense to know where that guy's going, where this guy's going, this, and that, what coverage it is off rip. Like every time you're not in the building working on that, you're sacrificing a little bit of time that you could be growing towards that.
Like, right now, that's what I was before I got on the call, fucking working on this stuff right here, just trying to get down some plays and stuff and, get in and out the huddle, talking about alerts, kill plays, things like that. We're going over the group
Protections,
protection. Oh, yeah.
protections,
You'll figure
huge.
out if you can protect yourself, you figure out the coverage by doing that. And
Just
then,
know when you're hot, keep your block on your head.
no, I think I'm really good at protections right now, so
Diego Pavia, did we make more than $2 million this year from NIL?
I can't answer that.
Okay, fine. Fine. I'll take that as a resounding yes. Cheers to that. We are officially in the best time of the year. NFL playoffs, championship games, Super Bowl around the corner. Every snap matters at this point in the season. And if you're watching the games anyway, you might as well make them a little more fun with PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 pick app. And honestly, it's the easiest way to win cash while watching sports. The app is super simple. You got player picks, you just choose more or less on a few player stats, and that's it. That's simple. Not complicated lineups, no spreadsheets, nothing. Just more or less. Not feeling prayer pops? They've also got team picks now. Pick the winner, pick the spread, pick the total, every major game, all in one place. PrizePicks is live in a ton of states, including California, Texas, and Florida. And player picks are available in even more. Just check your state at prizepicks.com. And if you're new here, here's the deal. Play your first $5 and PrizePicks will give you $50 in lineups. All you got to do, use code Johnny. Plus, you can follow me in the app at Johnny Manziel. You get my picks in real time, in the feed. You can roll with your boy. It's good to be right. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. Nevertheless, PrizePicks has you covered. There's obviously some talk that you might fight for NCAA for another year of eligibility, especially with kind of like what happened with Quinn Ewers last year. What ultimately led to your decision to not do that and move in the direction of the NFL? Because your life at Vanderbilt was fucking like my life in College Station, except more free. I mean, we go to Kid Rock Steakhouse when I went to go like maybe take care of some of the bill. They're like, no, no, Diego doesn't pay here. I'm like, what? Fuck this guy, bro. This is like the perks of the NIL. And then, like, from Broadway to everything else, you were living a different life in Vandy. It was a good one.
Well, the city of Nashville is the greatest city, I think, alive, but it was a great life, but the reason why I decided, to not go and challenge the NCAA is because, one, I feel like, uh, yeah, the money would have been good to go back, but I think there will never be a team assembled like the one we had at Vanderbilt this past year. Just like all the guys top to bottom, it just made so much sense. And teams are going away. It's like 1 year contracts. There's no real like team camaraderie anymore. It's not like hanging out with the boys no more. It's just like people in and out, and it's kind of you don't get to form as many relationships. Like I only know like 50% of the Vanderbilt team now, and I'm only gone for, I don't know, a month now. So, like, that aspect kinda sucks for me. But then, like, I just thought, like, this would be the best year for me. Like, I've played so much college football. I played 6 years and never sat behind anybody. You know what I mean? Think about how many games that is of college football. Like, I've seen enough defenses. I've seen, um, everything possibly that you could see in college football. I feel like I'm ready for the NFL. I want, this is my crack at it, and so I want to see what the next step is. I want to see these crazy exotic defenses. I want to see, people tell me, you can't do this, can't do that. Well, I want to test it. I want to test the NFL. And I saw the other day Cam Ward, he was like, I figured out, yes, you can throw back away from yourself across the middle in the NFL. So I just want to test, is my game good enough, really?
To continue on the NCAA, you know, you and 26 other players are fighting for the eligibility right to JUCO players in a lawsuit against the NCAA. How'd that come about, and what are your true feelings on how that ends?
I remember it was before the Alabama game, you're doing your walk through your stadium, and before we get to the hotel, because the hotel is basically in the stadium, uh, my lawyer now, his name's Ryan, approached me, he was like, "Hey, my name's Ryan, you know," and he kinda kept on going on, but I really wasn't listening, you know, I'm trying to get prepped before the game, and then he was like, "I think I get it basically, I think I get you an extra year of eligibility. Here's my card, give me a call." And at the time, my best friend was my agent, he was living with me, and because, you know, there's no real NIL agents anymore or ever been, but so my boy was my agent, and I was like, "Here, give this guy a call and, see what he wants." So he gives him a call, you know, figured out what we want. We beat Alabama, and the next day, it's like Sunday at 12, uh, coach lets us have off Sunday. We go to eat with him, and he's just telling us how he can for sure get me an extra year. And I was just like, you know, it made sense. Um, you know, we kinda it was like we knocked on the door the first year in the SEC, and then this past year, we were able to, you know, get through it, and I think Vanderbilt's gonna be good for a really long time now.
You know, I think that's amazing what you're doing, you know, sticking up for people who have been on the similar path as you. I think I do the same thing, for guys who are a little bit more on the wild side in college, who don't make the best decisions to try and give advice and help guys who are looking for it, and that's in any sport in, you know, this country or the next.
Yeah, the thing that Coach Lee, like, obviously I got, um, I wouldn't say in trouble is the word, but, you know, kinda
A
was like,
stern talking to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And Coach Lee would be like, "Dude, you're young, you know, you're 23 years old. Your frontal lobe isn't fully developed until you're 25." You know what I mean? So, like, you gotta give these people a chances until they're 26, you know? So, that's what he always told me when I got in trouble, and he was always dude, he was always there when I was in trouble. Always there, and he just it was like he knew what the right thing to say to calm me down and just focus on the next week.
Yeah, it's, same thing in the NFL, man. You have a very, quick process of getting over things and getting your mind in a place where you can move forward and you know, let things flow off your back and not let too
Yeah.
many things stick with you for too long. I think if that's one thing I can say about my life is I looked in the rearview mirror of my life for too long instead of looking forward and controlling what I can control and moving on with my life, you know? That's the same for on the field, off the field, wherever it may be. You know, you look at Ole Miss's Trinidad Chambliss, and he's fighting for the exact same thing you fought for last season. You know, he wants one more year of eligibility at Ole Miss. I think the guy's an unbelievable talent, and right now they've said no, like, we'll see what it ends up playing out like. Um, you know, have you seen a bit about that?
I think he's a heck of a talent. That play that he made against Georgia was crazy, but he's been making plays all year, and I know, um, me and Coach Kiffin got to build a relationship too, so he would always talk about Chambliss and how good he was, when he was at Ole Miss. But yeah, I think they should give him an extra year. You know what I mean? Let him go ball out one more year and then come out and be dude, if Ole Miss gets him back, you don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna be one of the hottest teams in college football.